Call Jane is the new drama starring Hilary Banks and Sigourney Weaver. It takes place in the 1960s where abortions were illegal in most states. But regardless of what side of the fence you fall on that topic, this movie has a really interesting story, and I'm here to talk about it, so let's get to it. A housewife is overjoyed with the news of her pregnancy until she learns it poses a threat to her life. After getting her abortion request rejected, she has nowhere to turn until she meets an underground group of women who risk everything to provide people like her with a choice. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. In my reviews, I discuss what I liked, what I didn't like, and then my overall thoughts. So starting with what I liked about the movie, let's go ahead and start with the acting. There's solid performances pretty much all the way around, and there's really not a weak link in this cast. This is actually one of the best performances I've seen Sigourney Weaver turn in a long time. I don't know if it was the topic or the cast ladies around her, but she definitely seemed motivated to put on a good performance. The standout though is Elizabeth Banks. Easily the best performance I've ever seen from her. Now I don't think she'll win, but do not be surprised if you hear her name called when they announce the Oscar nominees. Now she doesn't carry the movie by herself, but she does carry the majority of the weight and she makes it look effortless. Another thing I liked about the movie was the overall story. Admittedly, I'm a sucker for a good movie that's either based on or inspired by a true story, and the writing for this movie was really good. It was very interesting to see how this underground network of women worked. They had to pay off the mob to keep the police from finding them, and they only had one doctor that was performing all these procedures and was getting $600 a pop for it. And this was $600 back in the 60s, working on about 5 to 10 women a week. There were a lot of moving parts that had to run smoothly to keep this illegal operation going, and watching all that play out was really interesting. Now as far as what I didn't like, the only real complaint I have is that there are some slow moments in this movie. Once the Janes came into the picture, I was so invested with what was going on with them that I didn't really care about what was going on with the personal life of Joy. Now I understand why it was there, because she was keeping this a secret from her family, but the further the movie went along, the less I cared about any of that. And at the moment when her family does find out, there's issues going on with the Janes, so I'm like, alright, I don't care nothing about what's going on here, let's get back to the Janes, I want to know how they gonna solve their problem. But that thought process probably could just be me, so take that with a grain of salt. So in conclusion, I like the overall story, I like the writing, I like the acting. It's also one of those straightforward movies where what you get is pretty much exactly what you expect from the trailer. If you watch this trailer and the story interests you, you're probably gonna like this movie. But if it doesn't, then you're probably not gonna walk out of this movie thinking it was better than you thought it would be. All that being said, I'd say this movie is worth a watch. So that's my review of Call Jane. If you've seen it already, what did you think? And a weird thing that I actually came out of this movie thinking to myself was that if you're in your 70s or 80s right now, in your lifetime, you've seen abortions be illegal in most states, to being legal everywhere, to going back to being illegal in some states, all in your lifetime. That's just crazy to me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen, hit that thumbs up and click that subscribe button to see what's coming next.